Hello, welcome to the Smile Revolution. And we raise awareness to the healing power of a genuine smile. Sincere smiles only apply. And I've been doing this Smile Revolution project since about 2005. And it started, I'll just tell you briefly. I had a difficult relationship with my dad. And the last time I saw him conscious, he gave me a big grin. And that smile changed my life for the better. And then I started this project. And then that year, hello, hobby gamer. And so anyway, I've had many projects. I've done a lot of things over the years with it. I've had a radio show with well-known musicians and authors like Pete Seeger, Richie Havens, and Arlo Guthrie, a lot of different people in Woodstock too, musicians. And I have a whole album of Smile songs that I wrote with Roland Musa and some other musicians, and Smile concerts. And I've done a lot of different things over the years. And then when the pandemic hit, I started doing the show. Well, I wasn't doing interviews. I was doing other variety shows, dance parties, and baking shows, and different shows to help people smile. And then I got back into doing my interview shows. And so this is my 155th show online since March 2020. So welcome if you've never seen my show before. And if you have, Laura's here. Hello, Laura. Thanks for joining. And this other person I don't know, Hobby Gamer, says hello. So, and I'm an entertainer, singer-songwriter, and hat designer. And what else? I do one-person shows, and I paint on clothing. What else? I'm a woman of many hats. And I'm also, most people write that they're wives and their moms. Well, I'm solo. I'm a solo, and I guess I'm a cat mom. So I am a mom, I guess. I'm a cat mom. So anyway, I'm going to start adding that in since other people do the same thing. So anyway, I have a really exciting show today. After I'm going to do my quotes and everything with Christopher M. Allport. He is a man of many hats, executive producer, director, singer, actor. I don't know. He does so many things. It's amazing. So he'll be telling you a lot about what he's doing currently, and I'll be giving you a little bit about his bio. It's so long, but I'm going to give you a shortened version of his bio, and he'll tell you a lot more. So thanks for coming live, and thanks for coming on replay, whoever comes later. I appreciate it. So let's see. I think I'm going to start with this book. It's called The Value of a Smile by Wilbur D. Nesbitt. It's from the 1925. See, because when I had my radio show, people would send me things. So I'm going to read it to you. The thing that goes the farthest toward making life worthwhile, that costs the least and does the most, is just a pleasant smile. The smile that bubbles from the heart, that loves its fellow men, will drive away the clouds of gloom and coax the sun again. It's full of worth and goodness too, with human kindness blent. It's worth $1 million and it doesn't cost a cent. There's no room for sadness where we see a cheery smile. It always has the same good look. It's never out of style. It nerves us on to try again when failure makes us blue. The dimples of encouragement are good for me and you. It pays a higher interest, for it is merely lent. It's worth $1 million and it doesn't cost a cent. A smile comes easily enough. A twinkle in the eye is natural and does more good than any long-drawn sigh. It touches on the heartstrings till they quiver blithe and long, and always leaves an echo that is very like a song. So smile away. Folks understand what by a smile is meant. It's worth $1 million and it doesn't cost a cent. Now, I don't smile all the time. Some people do. But it's about giving and receiving smile. Sometimes you need to remind me to smile. And let's see. I'll show you somebody who has a beautiful smile. For some of you, some of you may know Richie Havens. I was actually friends with him, and this is actually, he always had a beautiful smile. And this was actually from his memorial at Bethel Woods in 2013. But he always had a beautiful smile. And let's see what else here. Age doesn't matter unless you're a cheese. Wisdom from our elders, Catherine and Ross Petrus. Okay. Humorous Andy Rooney said, age is nothing but experience, and some of us are more experienced than others. And writer George Saul, who I always really liked, try to keep your soul young and quivering right up to old age, and to imagine right up to the brink of death that life is only beginning. I think that's the only way to keep adding to one's talent, to one's affections, and to one's inner happiness. Now, I had a show that I toured with called Ageless Wonders, a grown-up kid's guide to realizing we're new. So I have all these books about being an older person. And then, yeah, we're all ageless wonders. Okay, The Tiny Book of Tiny Pleasures from Irene Smith and Astrid Vanderhulst. Okay, A Purring Cat, Good Vibrations. There's a good reason to love the deep, melodic, rumbling sound of a cat purring. Studies have shown that beyond the soothing qualities of the sound, purring has physical health benefits too. The sound frequency at which cats purr, between 25 and 50 hertz, improves bone density and it promotes healing in both cats and their humans. Scientists hypothesize that purring plays a key role in the relatively sedentary lifestyle of cats. Felines spend so much time conserving energy, sleeping upwards to 16 hours a day, that purring might also be a mechanism that stimulates muscles and bones without using much energy. My cat Tiki was just here. I was going to show you her, but she just left. And Mr. Rogers, wait, someone wants to say hello. Okay, she always wants to get in the action here. This is Minnie, me, Miss Wow. And she's got her smile bag. And this is from a picture of me with my pink wig and orange outfit. She always likes to get in the action here and say hello to everybody. And then Gumby too wants to give you a big hug and a smile. Okay. And let's see. Okay. So then Mr. Rogers. Okay. Listening is a very active awareness of the coming together of at least two lives. Listening, as far as I'm concerned, is certainly a prerequisite of love. One of the most essential ways of saying I love you is being a receptive listener. Listening is where love begins, listening to ourselves and then to our neighbors. And, okay, one more thing. Well, I always have a lot of things here to share. Okay. Ralph Waldo Emerson said, no one owns the day who allows it to be invaded with fret and anxiety. And then actually Laura Molitor, who's watching, she gave me this, find joy in each day. Okay, thanks, Laura. And okay, from this, I have these cards, and then I'm going to have Chris on very shortly, I promise. Okay. These are from timeforthinkers.com. Reverend Jesse Jackson said, never look down on someone unless you're helping them up. Have you ever had a chance to help someone who was in trouble and feeling a lot of shame? Oh, thank you. Oh, okay. I'll put this on the screen. Thank you. Okay, good. I'm glad. Thank you. Okay, next time the past comes calling, let it go to voicemail. It's got nothing new to say. That's an unknown quote. Have you ever experienced a deep transformation, leaving something sad or scary behind you for good? And then Mahatma Gandhi said, there are some people in the world so hungry that God cannot appear to them except in the form of bread. Have you ever fed a total stranger? And I think that's enough quotes for the day. I always have more, but it's okay. This is the first button I ever made. May you give and receive many smiles. and they appear at different places. I don't have my blog anymore, but okay. So I have to first thank Stevie Kalinich, who I don't know if he's on now, but he said he'd watch on replay if he's not on now. He introduced me to Chris M. Allport. And let's see, okay, so I'm thanking Stevie right now. And I've met a lot of people from Stevie, so thank you so much. And Stevie, when I first met him, I had him on my show. I was promoting him like every week for like 2 months when I first met him like a year and a half ago. Okay, so Chris is an executive producer, composer, director, and more. A consistent eye and ear for composition, performance, cinema, musical, and acoustic aesthetics, matched with an in-depth understanding of media technology. Christopher is the driving force behind Alpha Command Unit. He has written, directed, and produced numerous records, orchestral compositions, feature films, and television specials. Thrust to the spotlight at the tender age of 4, Christopher was quickly discovered fearlessly singing America the Beautiful, standing atop a grand piano at a local Japanese restaurant by former Radio City Rockette Madylin Clark. Thrown immediately into classes taught by Hollywood Golden Era pioneers and drilled in the disciplines, arts and techniques of TV, film, theater, music, and dance, Allport earned his stage debut at the Pantages for the Walt Disney Company by the age of 10. His career is amazing. As an actor, he has embodied many recurring roles in many TV series, including Emmy Award-winning Peter Pan and the Pirates, Clueless, Boston Public, and Dawson's Creek. And he's performed as a backup singer for Barbra Streisand on her Timeless tour with Los Angeles Opera, and can be heard on countless film soundtracks. And he's going to talk. We're going to show a clip from his new movie that he wrote and directed, Emily or Oscar, a movie musical, which is a bit of a love letter to old Hollywood. And it's United Artists founders Mary Pickford, Douglas Fairbanks, D.W. Griffith, and of course, Charlie Chaplin. Some of the film stars include Susan Boyd Joyce from Happy Days and Golden Globe winner Susan Blakely. So here he is. Hello.
Hi, Mindy. How are you?
I'm good. I'm so glad to finally meet you in person. Well, sort of in person on the screen.
Yeah, well, likewise. I know we've seen each other quite a bit online in the blog space and Facebook and things like that. So it's really good to chat. And a special thanks to Stevie Kalinich also, who connected us, who is he's really just such a dear person and more than a friend. I mean, he's family at this point. So thank you, Stevie.
Anybody who's friends with Stevie, it's like Paul Zolo. You know Paul Zolo, right?
Yes, I know Paul. Yeah, big shout out to Paul.
Yeah, he's great. Paul. Anyway, I know Paul's great. Anyway, he says that anybody who's friends with Stevie, it's like it's like you're part of the family. It's
That's
like,
right.
I don't know. He has an expression. I can't remember the expression, but you're like part of the Stevie club. I don't know. I can't remember. I have to look up what he said, but knowing Stevie, we're all very fortunate.
Yeah. With Stevie's poetry, it really reflects what you're talking about smiling and making it through. There's a lot of difficult times in life that we all face, but when you're able to get through it and see that there's a light on the other side of that tunnel, you can do that through smiling, and sometimes that's an internal thing. It's not just external. That you can reflect and glow inside your own heart in the way that Charlie Chaplin suggested in his, 1936 song, "Smile though your heart is aching, smile even though it's breaking, although a tear may be ever so near. That's the time you must keep on trying. Smile, what's the use in crying? You'll find that life is still worthwhile if you just smile."
Thank you.
Yeah.
That was great. Now it's one of everyone's favorite songs, right? It's just such a great song. But Paul Zolo, he writes all about that song. It's not, I don't think Shirley Chaplin wrote the whole, it was like different people wrote it. I don't know. It's like a whole
Charlie wrote the music, and then
Oh,
I think
okay.
a couple of other guys wrote the lyrics a few years
right.
later, but it came from as one of the theme melodies from Charlie's film Modern Times.
Okay. Anyway, it's such an amazing song. So thank you for serenading us.
Yeah. The lyrics were done by John Turner and Jeffrey Parsons.
Okay. Right. Yeah. Paul writes a whole long thing about the song, the history of that song.
You know, Charlie's a big influence to me. In fact, this is him right here, a very young, I don't know if you can see it on the webcam, but a very young Charlie Chaplin, a very young Mary Pickford and Douglas Fairbanks. So they're all big influences to me.
That's great. That's really neat.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, okay. So with your new movie, it's coming out February 14th.
It's coming out the next month, and we've been on the film festival circuit for a year now, and we've won countless awards, about 50, I think 56 IMDb qualifying film festival awards. So I'm just greatly honored,
it's amazing
that my work has been recognized, because I don't really go for too much PR, but I stay focused on the work. And, when you stay focused on the work, it comes out better. So that's how I do it,
Is it your first film though? First feature?
It's my first narrative feature that I wrote and directed.
Okay.
I've worked on many other feature films as an actor.
Right.
I've done a lot of TV directing and directing of documentary films, over the years, but this is the first, narrative feature that, I just dug in and focused on what I had to say.
Mm-hmm. And how long is it? When did you start writing it?
We started actively writing it in about 2018, but the idea, not the whole idea, but the seed, the kernel of the idea started coming to me in, it was around 2010, actually, because I was working, doing some work with my good friend Maria Newman, who's a composer, and she was writing these new scores to old Mary Pickford films, and I got involved in some of the restoration of those films, and as well as who's the Hearst, William Randolph Hearst films that he hand cranked on a manual cinema camera before there was even a movie industry. Marion Davies and her friends were coming up from Los Angeles to the castle and cavorting about and putting on these skits, and he would just film them. Then there's no sound, but it was beautiful. And so we started putting together these old dailies that we found and rescoring them, and Maria rescored them, and we got to perform the film live at Hearst Castle in William Randolph Hearst Theater with the new score played live. So that was just super cool. And I was just really, at that point, then with the Pickford connection, just really got to see how Hollywood came to be. And specifically when I say Hollywood, I mean modern cinema. That started about, when were the Lumiere brothers that, first invented a motion picture camera in the late 1800s. But you find that by, 1910 to 1920, there's this huge revolution where modern cinema becomes this thing that people can't get enough of, and it becomes this massive business.
That is so cool.
Yeah, and it was Mary Pickford that really kept Charlie Chaplin and D.W. Griffith and Douglas Fairbanks together when they came to Hollywood as United Artists, which they founded themselves, to be about the artistic creation and allow the royalties to benefit them a little bit more, because, a lot of the money goes to these big studios, but it's people that are creating. And so they fiercely, fought for that, and, fought for artists' rights.
That's amazing. So, okay. So that's where you got the seed of the idea.
Mm-hmm.
And then you started actually writing this movie in 2018.
we wrote a first act. Well, at that time it was a short, and my friend who's a filmmaker in the Netherlands, we filmed the short, and he took the footage back to his studio in the Netherlands and edited it. And I went to go join him, and I just wasn't satisfied with the ending. We had this great development. Casper Clark played Emily Arthur, and we were really excited but the ending wasn't good for me. It just kind of fell flat. And what I know about cinema is that people want to have a great ending. It doesn't necessarily have to be a happy ending, or it has to be a sad ending. It has to be satisfying. You have to get something out of it. You have to feel like you came from one place and went with the characters to another place. Otherwise, so anyway, my friend Ishmael said, well, what do you want to do about it? I said, we have a great first act here. I said, we need to make this into a feature. And he goes, well, how are you going to do that? I said, just the same way we did this first act. Keep going until it's done. Just figure out every little piece of the puzzle and put it together until it's done. And that might take a long time. And I'm okay with that.
So it didn't really, but if you started in 2018, it didn't really take a long time, because some movies take a lot longer, right?
Yeah, some do. And we were actually about 95% finished when COVID hit in, March 19th or 13th of 2020, or whenever that was, and everything shut down. Right. And I think I had a shoot scheduled that day of, a cabaret shoot with all these people, and we had to cancel it. And we were out of business for, a year and a half or whatever it was, until the first vaccines came out and we could safely get people together again.
Right. So you just finished it like last year.
Yeah. And we had to put the pieces together, and, there was a lot of, changes and things that had to be made to accommodate, and also the 2 years of difference between filming, people, change.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So you really have to figure out how, as a director, how to accommodate that in a way where you're not calling attention to those changes. And that's really kind of where the artwork is.
That's amazing. So that's incredible. And so Stevie was in it, early, right? From day one.
And he was not in the original first act. And when I developed it into a feature, I realized that we needed these other cast of characters. So Ishmael, who had played the mysterious gentleman, that's when I realized he's kind of like a Douglas Fairbanks kind of character, but we kind of turned him into the antagonist or the villain a little bit. And then we made Stevie into a prophet.
Which is perfect.
Which is perfect for him.
Perfect thing. I mean, it's a perfect role.
And he goes, but I don't want to memorize lines. I go, don't worry. You don't have to. Just
be yourself.
If you just be yourself, and if you trust me, I'm going to get out of you. And he was a little shy about it at first, and then he kind of just opened up and bloomed, and I just let him go.
I know, right.
And some of the other actors were like, what is this? Why are you letting him? I just said, let the tape run. I know what I can take out in post-production that we need for the film, and what we can save for the B-reel or, the comedy reel later,
Okay.
So, and so it was this hybrid between this improv and the script. And it really worked out just stunningly beautiful. And you have this wonderful human being, who was the lyricist for Dennis Wilson and Brian Wilson. And I think he did one for
Paul McCartney.
Paul, yeah.
Yeah.
And here he is showing up on my set, and there were some young interns that were kind of being bossy with him one day, and and he said, no, I only take direction from Chris.
Okay. That's cute. That's
so good. Which is, if I'm an actor in somebody else's film, I'm going to want to take direction from them,
Right.
Not tell them how they see it.
Right. So that's exciting. So I know it's won so many awards already. So it's really exciting. So it's going to be in a lot of theaters, or it'll be in limited theaters?
I think it'll be, limited. It's an definitely an art house picture,
right.
And we're going to have Blu-rays available.
Okay.
And and possibly some streaming, but I'm taking my time with
Okay.
it. And we just found out today we won 3 more awards from the Frida Kahlo Film Festival.
Wow.
We won Best Narrative Film, we won Best Director, and Best Original Screenplay.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so
congratulations. That is so great.
And I just feel honored by it because the work is standing on its own.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't hire a publicist. We didn't, we're enjoying doing these podcasts and talking to people, and
Right.
you might want to interview some of the other actors,
Mm-hmm.
that have been in it, and like the wonderful actress who plays Emily Arthur, Casper Clark. She just does this beautiful performance, and you see the transformation of the characters. And also a big shout out to the guys over at the Culver City Film Festival. They honored Susan Blakely for Best Supporting Actress, and also they honored the film for Best Original Score for a narrative feature. So I'm really excited for the people who have seen what it is that we literally made out of nothing.
Mm-hmm.
We literally made a feature film out of nothing, other than my experience of working in the business since I was a very little kid. Well, we can get into that, but as an actor and a singer and dancer.
Okay.
But building off that, the relationships and understanding what people are good at, and don't ask them to do what they're not good at.
Right.
Ask them to do what they're really, really good at,
mm-hmm.
and that they want to do, that they're dying to express themselves doing.
Mm-hmm.
And you get something that's really stunningly beautiful.
So you did this on a low budget.
Low budget. But it looks like, we shot it in digital 35 millimeter. My cinematographer, dear friend Bob McCall, and I became like brothers, during the time, that we were filming together. And, if we had to be up at, on location at 4 a.m. out on a beach in a remote corner of San Francisco, Bob was there with me.
Mm-hmm.
We really had to scrap it together and really pull things together. And a lot of times it was he and I schlepping the lights and setting up the lights because, we didn't have a budget.
Guess who's here? Stevie's on.
Hey!
Yeah, we've been talking about you. Okay, he's watching.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah, he's... so anyway, it's just great to have him on the picture, and everybody else who was there. Fernando Duran, who plays the best friend of my character, and Casper Clark's mom, Cynthia, joined us and played Emily's mom, in the film. So, and it's very kind of meta, like a film within a film and a play within a film kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Kelly Frenette and Judy Louise-Johnson and Crystal Kerr, and Denny Lennon. He's another great guy who jumped in. He actually has a sports talk show called Sports Stories with Denny Lennon, and I, do some behind the scenes directing for that show. But he came on doing some of the sidelining in the cabaret, where he's actually a piano player. And so, big shout out to Denny for his cameo there. And Jeannie Russell, who is Margaret on the original Dennis the Menace. She plays the theater manager. And of course, the inimitable Susan Boyd Joyce, who plays the older Mary Pickford, just with this stunning, vivacious personality. So,
oh, that's great. All right, I think what we should do is let me show the trailer.
Sure thing. Go for it.
Okay, so I'm going to take you off,
Okay.
and we'll be back.
That special moment between sleep and awake? It's less than literal and into the liminal.
Sam, darling, my question is simple.
What's it gonna be, Sam?
the land of dreams, maybe your imagination tells the truth.
Talent and troubled mind go hand in hand.
Extra, extra! Ghost Rider Geek greets Glam Girl.
Just living the dream, Sam.
And that showbiz kid.
But she's a spectral, so she can't stay.
But how can I write a good story without Emily in it?
Hang on. Break a leg.
What's in it for you?
Well, you better go find him then.
The night's chill has given rise. Reveal yourself in love and grace. Come join me now in warm embrace.
Your characters need a rest from the subtext of a treasure chest.
My heart needs to know, where are you now?
And then you shall be found.
When you're free to dream, when you long for love, but are drawn to the light. When what you write becomes an entire new reality.
It was great.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's really great.
Thanks so much.
Yeah. So you're also working on a book that's coming out soon.
Yes. So the Senya Chronicles, I'm doing with my friend and collaborative partner in Scandinavia. His name is Fansu Njai. And we've developed this 539-page action adventure novel, which is very different from Emily or Oscar. It's a nail biter, cliffhanger kind of thing, where a NATO special ops team goes into a mountain in northern Norway, thinking they're up against, Russian combatants. And they go deeper into the tunnels and find out that the real enemy is Scandinavian folklore. It's trolls. They're going up against some pretty rough stuff that they're not prepared for. And it's really a nail biter. So we're really excited. That's coming out at the end of January on Amazon Books. And there's also a TV series or streaming series that's in the works, for that. So there'll be a book and motion picture involvement with that.
Have you already started filming that?
No, we haven't started filming.
Okay.
We've completed writing.
Okay.
We're completed writing the series and finished the manuscript of the book, and we're working on the publishing elements right now.
Okay. I'm like amazed. Do you sleep at all? I mean, or you must have like a huge staff of people.
I wish.
You wish. Okay.
I wish I had a huge. No, I don't sleep as much as I should.
Okay.
But I also, it's just what I do. Like the stuff, just pours out of me, and you have to sort of, if you want to get somewhere, you have to be practical about it, and you have to realize a lot of times if you want something done, you just have to do it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a lot of DIY stuff that we do, and the staff, so to speak, I don't have, a staff, but I have a lot of people that I collaborate with, and the collaborations really accentuate. We feed each other.
Mm-hmm.
Another collaboration that I'm doing. There's a record called 3 Novellas for Guitar and Orchestra by a collaborator, Toulouse Engelhardt, from the band The Byrds. And, he's just this phenomenally talented guitar player. And he came to me with these solo guitar tracks and wanted to add string orchestrations to them. and a bunch of other music directors had already turned the project down, and it's too complicated. I'm going, wait a minute. It might be too complicated to address it technically, but it's not too complicated to address it as music, to figure this out and learn the music. And I was blessed to conduct the orchestra and be the executive producer of that record. So we're going up to Coast Mastering in Berkeley in a couple weeks and getting the record mastered, and then it'll be out. And it's just a stunning, there's no vocals on it. And I usually do a little vocal music, but it's just guitar and orchestra and harp, and it's somewhere across between this classical guitar and jazz guitar. But the story he's telling is about Oceanides, this mermaid that lives in this mythical sea called Enceladus, and it's her story of global warming. And ultimately, Oceanides dies. And the music invokes this just really thoughtful story. And so anyway, I thank Toulouse for trusting me to help breathe life into the project and help it come alive. That's how I really see, we don't have, nobody I'm working with has a huge staff, but we all support each other.
You all collaborate. You collaborate with all.
We collaborate just like they did.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's really cool. And so Laura said after she watched the trailer, very inspired and dedicated.
Thank you, Laura.
And Stevie said, "Great."
Yeah. I mean, it's for me, it's a labor of love. Everything that I create has to be done because I love it. I won't take a job that I'm not deeply passionate and inspired about. Otherwise, why I don't understand why. I understand why anybody would do a job that they don't love, because there's millions of jobs in the world, and you should pursue what it is that you want and find a way to make that happen. And sometimes it takes a lot of compromise on some things, but you will set yourself up for going further. You have to go further. And you have to serve your own greater purpose. What's really true to you, that's actually good for the world. That's what's best for the world.
You're right. To do what you love and do what you're best at. And so over the years, so you started performing when you were 4.
Yeah.
You got discovered.
Yeah.
So have you always been an actor, and have you always been doing something in the entertainment business your whole life?
Yes, I've always been in the entertainment business. When I was a teenager, I also worked on the side as an electrician and a plumber, so I worked in contracting stuff, but that was kind of, a side job that I had to do to make money.
You mean in the film business?
No, I was working on houses.
I see. So that's what I'm asking. So there have been times when you've had other jobs.
But I mean,
to make money.
I was at that time in my life, I was like 16 or 17. I'd be under a house, repiping a house with the master plumber one day. And then at 5 o'clock have to get out, shower, clean up all the solder and, mess off myself, and go down to LA Opera and get in the, get in there in time, for the call.
Right.
So, I mean, I've paid my dues, and I still pay my dues. I do the work. And, I think a lot of artists, want money to come to them. Don't think that it works that way. I think you have to work for it. But if you're going to work for it, you better work at doing something you actually love.
Right.
So
I understand. I'm an artist too, so I understand. And sometimes you have to have other jobs too.
Yeah.
Right. And that's just part of the creative life.
But, I'm fortunate at this point that my other jobs are, creative writing for clients, editing, motion picture, mixing music, because I'm very good at these things. Because I understand the technical, but I'm not approaching it that way. I'm approaching it about artistically what's needed in this moment to make that music or that bit of writing or that film or that commercial feel right to the viewer.
Right. So you do you do script, help the scripts and all kind of.
The scriptdoctor.com, it's kind of where I got the idea for Sam Feldman character in Emily or Oscar. He is a script doctor. Like that's what he does, and a lot of people said, "Oh, I've never heard of that before." So I actually kind of made fun of that in the film.
Okay.
Yeah, there's this girl that says, "Oh, never heard of that before," and she kind of gets distant. It's like, oh, it's kind of like being a ghostwriter, but this is the reality of how motion pictures are made. That there might be one writer that wins the Oscar, but there's a team of people that are doing all these revisions and seeing through the vision of the main writer.
Right. There's a huge team.
And in Emily or Oscar, I acknowledged everybody who, in the credits who was in the writer's room with me, including, Casper Clark and Stevie Kalinich lent some of his poetry to it. And Ray Perot, the science fiction author, lent some ideas to it. And my mom, who's died about 8 years ago now, but she had given me ideas, long before. And so that all these ideas were incorporated. And I wanted to acknowledge everybody who was part of that.
That's great.
Yeah.
Okay. So we could talk forever. I mean, you're such a fascinating life. And, but I'm so excited about your new film.
Thank you.
And your book and everything. And is there anything else you wanted to add to wrap it up?
Well, on January 15th, I have a new single that's dropping on all major record platforms, from Apple Music, Amazon Music, Title, Spotify, wherever you listen to your music, iTunes, whatever. And it's a single called Shenandoah, and it's the American folk tune that I've arranged for piano, cello, flute, and voice. And it's a very sensitive and emotional arrangement of the piece, which was an old sea chanty, really. And the brilliant piano player John Dixon's on the record, Leah Metzler's on cello, and Sarah Andon on flute. And they're part of my little chamber music thing that I have going on, and I think you'll really enjoy the record. So
that's
look for
great.
that. Yeah, January 15th.
And that's called Shenandoah.
Shenandoah, yeah.
Okay, that's great. And your movie, Emily or Oscar, is coming out February 14th.
Yes.
In selected theaters.
Yes.
Right.
And we should have, I think the Blu-ray should be available by then too. So.
And then it's going to be streamed at some point too?
Yes, yeah. And a big shout out to my supporters in Washington, D.C., Barbra Rue and Mark Rue. They've really gotten behind my artwork, and I'm very grateful for them. So thank you.
Yeah, I'm friendly with Barbra.
Yeah, they're really great. So,
she bought one of my Mindy Miss Wow dolls.
Yeah, she showed it to me.
She showed it. Okay, good.
Yeah, and Barbara's mom, Shirley, and I mean, you meet these incredible people all around the world when you're an artist, and you get to travel and meet other artists, and that's really where the magic happens. We were up in Pennsylvania, and we met this great artist, Raul Vega, and he's another great person you should talk to. These gorgeous paintings, done with Indian ink, and and so you collaborate with these people that you meet, that you walk next to in life, and to me, that's where the internal smile comes from.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Laura Malzer said best motive for sure.
Yeah.
And then she said, that's a beautiful song. Looking forward to hearing your rendition.
Thank you, Laura.
She's a singer-songwriter too from Austin.
Cool. I think there's a pre-order page. I have to find it.
And then Stevie said, wonderful show. Chris is a wonderful soul.
So is Stevie.
And it's Mindy said, Stevie says Mindy, he loves Mindy too. Okay. Love you too, Stevie.
Yeah. Let me see if I can get this link.
Okay, great.
Here's the link. I'll put it in the chat.
Oh, great.
Or in the comments.
Okay, good.
I don't know how to do it. Right, well, I'll just put it in the private. No, I don't know. Oh.
Or maybe you can do it. Well, you can send it to me and I can put it in the
okay.
Chat if you don't know how to do it. I don't know if you can do it on the chat here.
I'll put it in the Facebook chat.
Okay.
There it is.
Okay, good. Yeah, during the show you can do that. Yeah. Okay, great. Okay, great. Well, Chris, it's been so great to meet you.
Likewise, Mindy.
Really.
Happy to be on your show. Happy to collaborate with you. I love the hats.
Thanks.
And I love the positive vibes, and appreciate you. And hopefully we can put you in a movie sometime.
Oh, that'd be great. It's already been predicted. So
yeah, I love fabulous characters.
Yeah.
I mean, there's this whole thing that everybody's trying to do is like play it real cool and just be yourself.
Right. Exactly.
People love it better.
Exactly. Okay. That would be great. Yeah.
Yeah.
How about Stevie and I together?
He and I have been talking about doing a road trip kind of film together, and you could be definitely a character that we meet along the way.
Oh yeah, that would be great. That'd be fun. Okay.
All right.
I'm ready.
Thanks.
Well, Chris, it's been great. I'm so glad to have you. I'm so glad Stevie's watching live, and I'll be talking to you soon.
Appreciate you. We'll talk to you later.
Okay, thanks so much. Okay.
Cheers.
Okay,
Bye.
let me go off with my credits. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that, everyone. And I will see you all. My next show is actually the 19th with Richard Barone, if I can talk. Richard Barone, acclaimed musician, singer-songwriter, author of this amazing book, Music and Revolution, Greenwich Village in the 60s. This book is incredible. And the whole folk scene in the village in the 60s. And so he'll be on the 19th at 8:00 Eastern time. He's a very good friend of mine as well. And I've got lots of other interesting people coming on soon as well. So here's my credits, and lots of love, and keep smiling, keep sweet. Join the Smile Revolution. Okay, let me see. Get my credits. It's called the Smile Revolution that comes, goes round and back to you. So smile, 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 a simple smile will do. Smile, 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 it comes back to you. Bye.